Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Boys. As always, it is your pal Ryan, along with my pal, your pal, and my co-host, Todd. Todd, how was the return of your football season? How did it go for you?
Started off great, Ryan. Really fun Sunday with, being right about every pick I made, getting a W in fantasy, and the Packers continuing a 3-decade-long domination of the minor league team, Chicago Bears.
Ouch. Yeah, what a game that was. I didn't watch. I was at the Falcons game, but I saw the highlights, and man, I mean, Love looks like a pro. I mean, he's like ready to go. I'm excited to watch him this season.
How was the Falcons game?
Amazing. Really rowdy time. Felt kind of bad rooting against the Panthers. I know we have so many Panthers fans who are Buffalo Boys listeners, but to be honest, I was a loud and proud Falcons supporter the whole game. I was getting rowdy. I had a couple beers in me. It was just a great time. Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I'm jealous. That sounds like a blast.
Absolutely, man. We'll have to go to a game sometime in Miami, or maybe you'll be up here, or maybe in Vegas later this year. We'll have to see. Anyway, exciting news, Todd. For the second season in a row, we are sponsored by our good friend Doug and the good people at Mattress Blacks. If you're worried about how you'll be sleeping once daylight savings time ends, worry no more. Mattress Blacks has hundreds of top quality mattresses from all the brands that you know and trust. This week, Buffalo Boys listeners who order online and use the code 2023, that's 2023, at checkout will get 15% off their order. Again, that is code 2023 at checkout. And Mattress Blacks, you can always find a king-size mattress that's good for your back. And with that, let's get the pod rolling, Todd. As always, we start out with a little bit of what are you sipping on? I see you sipping on something dark and sexy over there. What do you got?
Let's out a special one for this pod here, Ryan. I am sipping on a 2018 Bourbon County brand stout, Bramble.
Wow, not Bramble. That's like one of the rare ones. That's awesome. I don't think I've had that one. I know I haven't had that one.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a ton of berries. I think it's blackberries and a couple other things. So it's got kind of like a very fruity, strong scent, and with it being 5 years old at this point, it's really mellowed out and just it's letting the fruit really shine right now.
That's awesome. I'm very jealous. I wish I could be enjoying that with you. I'm currently drinking some water, some iced water. I love a good ice water. Just got off work, but later I opened up a 2001 Harvest Ale from J.W. Lee's over the weekend, and it was so sweet that I only drank half of it. So I'm going to be popping into that later tonight. Should go down pretty smooth. Before we begin, cheers.
Cheers.
Delicious. And with that, episode 3 of the 2023 season of Buffalo Boys begins. First, we have our first quality control coach of the week. After week 1, finally see how the season is going to be going for some people, and at least we're getting a little bit of an idea. Todd, who is your quality control coach of the week this week?
Ryan, I am going to give it the first of the season to Neil. Neil started his optimal roster and got the W with the 4th highest score on the week.
That's great. Congratulations, Neil. First quality control coach of the year. That is that's big time. And of course, Todd, for every quality control coach, we must have a clown coach or a clown owner of the week. Who is your pick this week?
I've got none other than Mike Simpson this week. He left something around 28 points on the bench against me, and that cost him the week.
Yikes. I mean, I say yikes, but it must feel good to name the clown owner the person that you played and beat the week before. So congratulations to you on that victory. Sorry about that, Mike. Do better this week.
Feels great, Ryan.
Good. I knew it would. Do you have any quick hit stats for us, Todd?
Couple notes on the West Park Fantasy League. This week was a week of blowouts, Ryan, with an average margin of victory in the game of 37 points. 12th highest week of all time in our history.
That's huge. Wow. Big week. Big start to the season. I like that.
But overall, Ryan, week 1 was down. We hadn't had this few points scored across our league since 2017.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder what the reason for that was.
That's it for me, Ryan.
All right. Sounds good, Todd. Thanks you for that. Moving on, it is matchup rundown review. I had a pretty good week last week, Todd. I wish I had been in Vegas and put some money on these matchups that I pick. I went 5-2. The only games I missed were picking Hoyle and picking myself. Everything else was a win. How did you do, Todd?
Well, Ryan, I started the league off like I hinted at before with a bang. 7-0. Jumping out of the gate. Hopefully, I can stay strong throughout the season. I did not miss a single pick, including picking AJ over you. Thanks, AJ.
7-0. Wow. Way to go, Todd. Man.
I'm not sure we even had that happen before. Have we had any other perfect weeks?
No, not that I recall. I don't think either of us had a perfect week last season. And honestly, like I felt bad about this one. I could have been 6-1. I mean, I had to pick myself week one, but I knew that AJ had a good team. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. So, wow, 7-0 though. That's awesome, Todd. Congratulations. And with that, let's move into our week 2 matchup rundown. We've got some exciting games for you. And we're going to start off with the number 1 team, according to ESPN right now. That is Forrest's team. He scored the most points last week, and he's going up against me. It was a high-scoring week for Forrest in week 1, but I'm expecting a big game in this one. A few really good matchups. I've got Kirk Cousins going up against Philly, 31st ranked defense right now. Excuse me. I've got Jamal Williams going up against Carolina, who's trash. Sorry, Panthers fans. I've got Mike Williams going up against Tennessee. Just some really good matchups. And George Kittle appears to be healthy, so hopefully he will have a game for me. So for the second week in a row, Todd, I am picking myself to win. Call me crazy. What do you think?
Well, first off, Ryan, bravo, Forrest. Having the number 1 QB, the number 1 defense, and the number 1 kicker, plus having the defense be the team that you support, that's almost as good of a start as I had on Sunday. But Forrest luck, I don't know if it's going to be able to continue. You won't get that much points from a defense again the rest of the season. That's just a fluke right there. And if he starts Drake London again against Green Bay, Drake London's going to get shut down. So he's looking at another goose egg there. Garrett Wilson doesn't have Rodgers thrown to him anymore. Barkley doesn't have an offensive line. I think they lost 2 or 3 tackles during the poor showing last week. And Tua against Bill. Belichick's going to have his number. He's going to get shut down. That's a great defense right there. It's not going to be a shootout. So I think we're going to see Forrest's team come back to earth this week. But for your team, I think you have a couple tough matchups as well, with CMC against the Rams, with Kirk against Philly, Devontae against Buffalo. I'm having trouble seeing anyone have a huge blow up week for you. So I think, all things considered, I'm going to give you the win here, but I'm not feeling great about it.
My fan club appreciates the support, Todd. Thank you as always. Hope we can pull out the victory for you, and maybe you'll go 14-0 to start the Pick'em year. We will see how that goes. Moving on, next game is going to be Nixon versus Doug. Talking about guys who had a big week. Doug now has the top 2 receivers in the league to start things off, and I really like him against Nixon. I think those 2 top wide receivers will take him to victory lane despite a tough matchup with the Eagles for the Vikings this week. But yeah, I like Doug. Who you got, Todd?
Nixon's team definitely had a lot of duds, and I'm going to be honest, I saw those coming. I don't think that they'll have the same duds this week, though. I think Josh Allen rebounds pretty well against Vegas. But for the rest of his roster, he doesn't have Deontay Johnson. Kenny Gainwell's hurt now. I'm not seeing any good high ceiling starts for him this week. Christian Kirk, did you see his actual snaps run? He was lapped by their second guy, Zay Jones. Zay Jones had way more routes run, given the personnel groupings that they were running on Sunday. Maybe that was a 1 week aberration, but you can't feel good with that when he's currently your wide receiver 1, Ryan. On the other side, though, I think Justin Fields, now that he doesn't have to play the Packers, I think he'll be able to rebound and run around and get some more points this week. You know, Najee is running against a really stout Browns defense, so that's got to be worrying. Zeke, you can't feel confident about that, but JJ and Tyreek, you got to feel pretty good. Nico Collins, did you see what Nico Collins posted? His positional rank is 27, Ryan. My weekly wager hit, but no one took the deal, so I don't get any money. But I was right. That's all I want to highlight here. And with that, I think I'm going to give Doug another W this week.
Love to hear it, and congratulations on hitting that wager there, Todd. I wish someone would have lost money to you, but alas, there'll be plenty more weeks for winning, for taking people's money, rather. Moving on, AJ versus Mims. I like AJ here. I think he'll replace Lockett with Tutu Atwell in his lineup. Lockett is currently in the starting position. We are recording this on Tuesday, so he has a lot of time to change things up. And I love Eckler against Tennessee. I think Eckler is just kind of a monster game. What are your thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, like we were just saying about Zay Jones, that's a great flex player to have, given how good Trevor looked last week. Trevor's currently sitting at the 8th overall QB, and I can just see a shootout happening against KC this week. Bijan, I think he's going to have a little bit more trouble this week against Green Bay, so maybe he comes back down to earth a little bit. And I'm a little worried about Eckler's injury, so I'm a little nervous about this team overall. In terms of Mims' side, I do like Lamar this week. I do like Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Seahawks just got torched. Puka Nacua put up 11 receptions against Tyreek Woolen, who was supposed to be a Pro Bowl caliber corner. So if Puka couldn't do it, the Sun guy can get 22 catches for all I'm concerned. But again, Mims, why are you starting Jerick McKinnon? Put that guy on your bench. Well, looking at your bench now, I can kind of see why. But yeah, I think Mims has enough ceiling across some of his matchups and players this week. So I'm going to go Mims.
All right, a split decision there. We will see how it goes. Next matchup, it is Neil versus you, Todd. How are you feeling about your team in this one?
Well, we're currently projected to score less points, so that doesn't feel great. And I have to root for Kyle Pitts to get some catches against Green Bay, which is not going to happen. But I still love the breakout potential for my guys. I love Chubb. I love David Montgomery. I love Metcalf and Ayuk. I mean, wide receiver 2 on the season. You got to love Ayuk. Looking at Neil's team, though, of course, he doesn't have a defense on his team right now, or at least starting in his roster, so it's hard to get a good gauge. But Mahomes, Jones is a little bit banged up. I think Debo's taking second fiddle to Ayuk, and Mixon just couldn't get anything going last week, so you can't feel good there either. I think overall my ceiling is a lot higher than Neil's, but looks like Neil is currently projected to win, so I'm going to take myself and just continue to believe in my team and hope that I can mirror his quality control coach of the week.
That's all you can do, Todd. Speaking of defenses, I see that you're currently starting the Seahawks, who did not have a good game week 1 and who are up against a feisty Detroit team. Any thoughts about switching it up this week?
Oh, yeah. The waivers are definitely happening. My moves last week could have put me in the clown coach position if I lost. I got rid of the Packers defense, which was, I think, like top 5 in points, and you picked them up.
Thank you for that.
Right now. And then I dropped my man Jordan Love, who's the top 10 QB this past week. So I could have had even more points. Now I gotta retool a little bit, but at least my drafted points will look solid.
Yeah, at least there's that. I'm also taking Neil, Todd. Sorry about that. I just think even without a defense right now, he's still projected to have more points than you, and I think he will pull it out. Moving on, it is Hoyle versus Jimmy. Hoyle had a really bad week 1, and I don't think that will improve here against a pretty strong Heart Etienne cat emoji team. I don't know if you can translate that for me, Todd. Of course, that's Jimmy's team's name. I guess we heart Etienne, who is a jaguar, and that's the cat. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't do the emojis too well. But yeah, with that said, I think Jimmy's team is going to beat Hoyle. What are your thoughts?
I think Jimmy's team is a good team, just like I said last week. The matchups all seem fine. I don't love Sutton, but he had 11 points last week, so hard to fault that. And you got to wonder with the performance last week for Geno, if there's a bigger issue at hand for Hoyle. That and Isaiah likely getting no catches in a prime time game for him to be able to get catches. He just got a couple holes on his roster that I don't think he'll be able to overcome. So I'm going to go with Jimmy.
All right. Next up, it is Adler versus Mike Simpson. I definitely don't think that Joe Burrow will have a repeat of week 1. I don't know what happened there, Todd, but that was just an insane scoreline. Again, I didn't watch the game, but I don't think many people would have predicted that outcome in week 1. With that said, even with an improved Joe Burrow, I love Jay Herbo here against the Titans. Chargers all day. I'm going with Adler.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup, Ryan. You've got Mike, who has both Chicago backs, and he's currently starting Herbert over Roshan, and Roshan looked way better in the game, so that's a curious pick. You got to love Brees coming out strong last week. That was impressive. He averaged something like 10 more yards per carry than expected per EPA. So he just had an insane performance, even though he got run down by a 4.5 40 receiver, a receiver that runs a 4.5 in the 40, and he ran like a 4.38 out of college. So clearly he's still getting back up to shape. And if he can do that, 15 points when he's not in shape, man, I miss that guy. And then Ridley was so fast and just picked up right where he left off. It was fun getting to watch him. And obviously T. Higgins, he likes to give Mike goose eggs, but then he also likes to give Mike 2 touchdown, 120-yard performances. I can see the seesaw. And then for Adler, if you can't like what you saw with Rachaad White this past week, Sean Tucker had a higher percentage of carries when it counted. Chase got shut down. Pittman looked good, though. That was a surprise. So Pittman in the flex looks real good, especially with Devonta Smith and Chase in the receiver position. So outside of the running backs, which we always knew was a question for Adler, there's lots to like for Adler, but I think I'm going to go with the upset and give Mike the W here.
All right. It'll be an interesting game for sure. We'll see how it goes. And last and certainly least, hate to say it, Todd, but I think this is going to be a stinker. Rick versus Dave. Rick got absolutely fucked by A-Rod getting injured on the 3rd play of the game. By the way, I know he's not a Packer anymore, but he was your boy for a while. He's close to your heart. His season could be over, which means his career might be over. I mean, how are you feeling about this Aaron Rodgers injury there, Todd?
Well, yeah, his season's over already because they confirmed it was an Achilles, so that's going to take a year. Wow. And I mean, he might not even be ready for the start of next season, so you can't like that. He did just say that he could see himself playing up to 5 years, but losing a whole year has to be pretty demotivating, and maybe he should have seen this coming after that darkness retreat, but who's to say? What I hate most, though, is that he's not going to play 65% of the snaps, and we no longer get the Jets' first-round pick, so that's kind of a bummer, but maybe it's going to be a high second round instead.
Well, they did have a good victory on Monday night. I mean, that return was crazy from the kid who they spotlighted on
Hard Knocks, yeah.
Hard Knocks, yeah. That you love to see that. You love to see those guys do well. So, yeah, what a punt return to win the game there. Okay, so with Aaron Rodgers out, Rick is going to need someone new at the QB position. There are a few different options. I'm sure he'll be fine there, but I don't think it'll be enough against Dak and Dave's team. I'm picking Dave for the victory. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same thing. Dave, it's hard not to beat Rick's team as it currently stands. We got to see some changes and some changes fast, maybe some trades. Get what you can out of Waddle or A.J. Brown. I don't know. If nothing changes, it's hard to see this team going very far. Dave's team, like you said, though, isn't much better. So it's really flipping a coin here. You got to feel pretty good with how Jordan Addison performed last week. He did have one long breakaway, and that's hopefully promising for the future. And, you know, maybe Kirk won't turn it over 3 times in the game again. So hopefully it goes a little bit better. Yeah, and I like Dak. Henry did fine, but did you know that Tajay? I don't know. Spears, RB quote unquote 2 for the Titans, actually outsnapped Derrick Henry, and it wasn't even just outsnapping him. He outsnapped him on first and second down. So the downs that you thought Henry would have all to himself, Spears actually had more carries. So is it already a turning of the guard? Maybe it's time to offload Henry before he has no value left, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, and if you want to do that, Todd is available to pick up Henry. I think that is what he's saying. All right. Well, that is the end of Buffalo Boys episode 3 of the 2023 season. Good luck to everyone this week. Can't wait for some more football. Feel like we're really back in full football mode, so it's an exciting time of the year, Todd. Good luck to your team, and we will talk next week.
And if anyone wants to put a wager in the YouTube chat and the group me, I'm open to putting them on air and getting a friendly bet going. And remember, Ryan, don't get buffaloed.